The night was cold, darker than usual, and the city was silent except for the wind moving through broken buildings. Two alien girls sat close together in the ruins, their bodies shivering, their skin covered with dust and scratches. They had no home, no food, and not even clothes to protect them from the sharp air. The older sister wrapped her thin arms around the younger one, trying to give her warmth. The younger girl whispered with weak breath, "Sister, I cannot feel my hands." Her lips trembled as tears rolled down. The older sister pressed her close. "Stay awake, little one. I will not let you sleep." She herself was close to fainting, but she kept her eyes open. People walked past them, shadows of aliens crossing the street. Some looked at the sisters and laughed. "Look at them, trash in the dirt," one alien said. Another threw a small stone at them and moved on. None offered help, none even cared. The sisters' hope was gone. They had begged for days, but no one gave them food or clothing. "Maybe it would be better if we stopped fighting," the younger one whispered. "Maybe we should sleep and not wake up." The older sister felt her heart break, but she had no answer. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Please hold on. Maybe someone will help us," but deep inside, she did not believe her own words. No one had ever helped them. No one wanted two broken, unwanted alien girls. The sound of boots echoed suddenly in the empty street. Heavy, slow steps. The sisters shrank back into the shadows. Afraid, a tall figure appeared, carrying a small light in his hand. It was not another alien, it was a human. The human soldier looked tired, his face scarred by war. His jacket was torn, and his boots were dirty with dust. He was walking back from patrol when he heard something. A sound too soft for normal ears, a faint whimper almost like a child crying. He stopped, listening. The wind blew again, carrying the sound. He turned his light toward the ruins. There, hidden under broken stones, he saw them. Two alien girls, one hugging the other. Their eyes were wide with fear, their bodies trembling. Their skin showed bruises. Their ribs were visible. For a moment, the human said nothing. He just stared. The older sister pulled the younger one closer, whispering, "Do not look. Do not speak. He will hurt us," but the human did not move closer with anger. Instead, he took a step forward slowly. His voice was deep but soft. "You don't belong here in the dirt," he said. "Come out." The sisters froze. They did not trust him. Humans were dangerous. They had heard stories. Some said humans used aliens as tools. Some said they sold the weak to cruel masters. The older sister hissed back, "Leave us, we have nothing. Take your light away." The human sighed and looked around. The street was empty. The night was colder now. He saw how thin they were, how hopeless their eyes looked. He removed his jacket and crouched, holding it out. "Take this," he said simply. The girls looked at each other. The younger whispered, "Sister, it is warm." "I am so cold," but the older shook her head. "No, it is a trick." The human placed the jacket gently on the ground and pushed it toward them. He did not move closer. His eyes met the older sister's. Calm and steady. "If you stay here, you will not survive the night," he said. His voice was not cruel, not mocking, but heavy with truth. The younger girl's fingers reached out and touched the jacket. It was soft, warmer than the stone floor. The older one wanted to pull her hand back, but she could not. Her sister was shaking too much. The human took out a small piece of bread from his pack and placed it beside the jacket. The smell reached the sisters. Their empty stomachs growled. The younger one whimpered, "Food." The older sister felt her defenses break. No alien had ever given them anything, not even a drop of water. And now this human stood there, offering warmth and food without asking for payment. Still, she hesitated. Her heart was full of fear. Her eyes narrowed. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why would a human help us?" The human's face softened. He looked at the two broken girls in the shadows and said, "Because no one else will." The silence after his words was heavy. The sisters stared at him, unable to speak. The older sister's chest rose and fell with fear, but also with something she had not felt in a long time: hope. The human stretched out his hand, not forcing them, only waiting. "Come," he said quietly. "You are safe with me." The sisters looked at each other. The younger one's lips moved. "Please, sister." Her eyes begged. The older one swallowed hard, her heart pounded. She had to choose, stay and die in the cold or take the hand of a human stranger. And in that moment the night held its breath, waiting for their choice. The older sister's heart pounded like a drum. She held her younger sister's trembling hand tightly. The human shadow stretched across the broken stones. His hand was still waiting open steady. He had given his jacket and bread, but was that enough to trust him? Voices from the street rose suddenly, harsh and mocking. A group of aliens passed by, pointing at the human. One shouted, "Don't follow him, little rats. Humans will sell you for coins." Another laughed, "Yes, he will use you, then throw you away." Their voices were cruel, cutting like knives. The sisters shrank back deeper into the ruins, fear flooding their eyes. The human turned his head slowly, his jaw tightened. His eyes were sharp and cold as steel. He said nothing, but his silence was heavy. The aliens cursed and walked away, their footsteps faded, leaving only the sound of the wind. The younger sister looked at the bread again. Her stomach twisted with hunger, she whispered, "Sister, maybe he is different," her voice cracked, weak from days without food. The older sister's eyes filled with doubt. She had heard too many stories, she knew too many tricks. Why would a human soldier risk his own life to help? What if he was lying? What if he was leading them into a trap? She whispered back, "We cannot trust him if we follow. Maybe he will sell us," but the human crouched lower. His voice was calm, almost gentle. "I will not sell you. I will not hurt you." He pointed at the bread. "Eat. You need strength." The younger girl reached for it. Her small hand shook as she tore a piece. The taste filled her mouth with life, salty, dry, but heavenly. Tears fell down her cheeks. "It is real," she whispered. The older one watched, her guard still high. But hunger was burning her too. Finally, she picked a small piece. Tasting slowly, her eyes watered. She hated herself for needing it, but she could not stop. The human saw them eat and pulled something else from his pack. A small water flask, he placed it on the ground beside the bread. "Drink," he said softly. The older sister stared at the flask, suspicious. What if it was poisoned? But the younger had already taken it, sipping carefully. Her throat sighed with relief. The water was clean, her eyes widened. "Sister." "It is safe," the human stood again, taller now. He looked around carefully, scanning the dark streets. Then his voice grew firm. "You cannot stay here. If the patrol finds you again, they will take you away. Come with me." The older sister's chest tightened. She felt trapped between fear and hope. If she stayed, death was certain. If she followed, danger might wait. Her mind spun. The younger sister clutched her hand tightly. "Please, sister." "I want to go." Her eyes glowed faintly with tears. She trusted the human, her small heart already leaning toward him. The human turned his back slowly, as if giving them space to decide. He started walking a few steps away. Then he stopped, his voice deep and steady. "You don't have much time. Stay and you will die before the sun rises." The words stabbed the night like a blade. The sisters looked at each other. The older one's lips trembled. She whispered, "What if he lies?" The younger pressed closer. "What if he tells the truth?" The silence between them felt endless. Then with a shaky breath, the older sister nodded. She pulled the younger one up from the cold stones. They stepped forward, their thin legs weak. Their bodies shaking slowly, step by step they followed. The human did not smile. He only gave a small nod and walked ahead. His boots crunched on the broken ground. The sisters moved behind him like shadows. Every sound of the night made them jump. Every corner felt like an ambush. As they moved deeper into the ruined city, whispers followed them. From dark windows and broken doors, aliens watched. Some spat on the ground, some laughed, others whispered curses. Traitors, following a human, but none stopped them. None cared enough. The path grew darker. The air was colder. The younger sister leaned against her sister. Nearly falling, the human noticed and slowed his steps. Without a word, he handed her a piece of cloth to wrap around her thin body. She looked at it with wide eyes, whispering, "Thank you." The older sister still watched him with suspicion, her eyes never leaving his back. She was ready to run if he turned against them. But inside, a small crack was forming in her wall of fear. His actions did not match the stories she had heard. He had given warmth, food, water, even protection, and he asked for nothing. Finally, they reached a hidden corner of the city. A metal door half buried in stone. The human tapped it twice. The sound echoed. The sisters froze. What was this place? Was this the trap? The door creaked open. Light spilled out from inside. Warmth touched their frozen skin. A voice from within called, "You are late, soldier." The human looked back at the sisters, his eyes steady, his voice quiet. "This is shelter." You can be safe here? The older sister's breath shook. Safe? Could such a word be true for them? She tightened her grip on her younger sister's hand. Fear and hope clashed inside her chest. The younger whispered, "Please, sister, let us go inside." The human stepped through the door, waiting. His hand rested on the edge. His eyes never left theirs. "Trust me or stay in the cold," he said. And again the night held its breath, waiting for their choice. The heavy door creaked wider, and a rush of warm air escaped. The sisters froze, their thin bodies trembling. Their eyes adjusted to the golden light spilling from the room inside. For so long their world had been only cold ruins and cruel voices. Now a strange warmth called them forward. The human soldier stepped in first. His boots echoed on the metal floor. He turned back to them, his voice steady. "Come." The younger sister tugged at the older's arm, whispering, "Please, sister, just once, let us try." Her voice carried both fear and hope. The older sister's heart battled inside. Every story she had heard warned her to run, but every bone in her body begged for rest. Finally, with one trembling step, she followed, pulling her sister close. Together they crossed the doorway inside. The air was thick with the smell of cooked food and fire. The walls were rough metal, lined with hanging lamps that flickered gently. It was not grand, but to the sisters it felt like another world. They stared wide-eyed, their breath sharp with disbelief. 3 human soldiers sat at a table nearby, talking in low voices. When they saw the alien girl step inside, their faces hardened. One of them stood up, his chair scraping the floor. "What is this?" he demanded. "Why bring them here?" The human soldier who had rescued them did not flinch. His voice was calm but firm. "They were dying out there." The other soldier frowned. "And what is that to us? They are not our kind if command finds out. You will answer for it." The sisters felt fear rise again. Their small feet wanted to turn back. The older sister pulled her sibling close, whispering, "We should leave before they throw us out," but the human shook his head, his eyes sharp. "No, they stay, at least tonight." The youngest soldier, a boy with tired eyes, looked at the girls more closely. He saw their bruises, their hollow cheeks, their shivering frames. His voice softened. "They're just children," the oldest soldier scoffed. "Children or not, this is dangerous if anyone sees them, if the enemy learns. We'll all pay." The rescued human placed his hand firmly on the table. His scarred face caught the light. His voice dropped low, but every word was iron. "If you want me to answer, then I will. But I will not throw them back to die in the streets." The room grew silent. The other soldiers exchanged uneasy looks. No one spoke again. The sisters clung together in the corner, their eyes darting from face to face. Their hearts raced, not knowing if they were safe or still prisoners. The human soldier crouched beside them. He unwrapped a small pack and placed it on the floor. Inside was bread, dried meat, and a small bowl of steaming soup. The smell made the sisters' mouths water instantly. He pushed it gently toward them. "Eat." The younger sister reached first. Her hands shook as she lifted the bowl. The warmth filled her chest as she sipped. She almost cried from the taste. The older one hesitated, looking at him with suspicion. Then, seeing her sister's relief, she finally ate too. Her body shook, but her soul felt lighter with every bite. For the first time in many days, the sisters felt alive. But just as the warmth began to wrap around them, a sound outside broke the fragile calm. Boots on stone, heavy and sharp. Voices in the distance, harsh and searching. The soldiers in the shelter stiffened. One whispered, "Patrol!" The sisters froze, terror gripping their chests. They knew those voices. They were the hunters, the ones who chased runaways. The older sister clutched her sibling tightly, whispering in fear. "They are coming for us." The human soldier stood quickly. His eyes flashing with urgency, he signaled the others. "Stay silent." The lamps were dimmed, weapons readied. The voices outside grew louder, closer. The metal door rattled slightly as if tested. A deep voice barked, "We know they came this way. 2 alien runts. Find them." The younger sister buried her face in her sister's chest, trembling. The older one's tears slipped silently down her cheeks. She thought it was a trap after all, but the human placed his hand firmly on the door, standing between the sisters and the danger outside. His jaw clenched, his voice a whisper like steel. "No one touches them." The other soldiers looked at him with shock. "Are you mad?" One hissed, "If they find the girls here, we are finished." The human's eyes never left the door. His body stood like a wall. Then let them come, he growled. The room was filled with silence, broken only by the pounding of boots outside. The sisters clung to each other, caught between fear and hope. Their fate hanging on the edge of a single choice. Would the human protect them against his own kind? Or would he give them up to save himself? The door shook again, louder this time. A fist pounded against the metal. Voices shouted, "Open up, now!" The sisters' hearts nearly stopped. The younger one whispered through trembling lips, "Sister, will he give us away?" The older sister held her tighter. Her own voice cracked, "I don't know." And as the heavy door trembled under the fists outside, the night once again held its breath. The pounding on the metal door grew louder, shaking the walls of the small shelter. The sisters clung to each other in the corner, their bodies pressed together for warmth and comfort. Their hearts raced, terror filling every inch of their small chests. The human soldier stood firm, his hand gripping the edge of the door. His eyes were sharp, scanning every shadow outside. His jaw tightened. He knew who was out there, the enemy patrol. Ruthless and cruel, they hunted runaways, and the sisters were their prize. "Stand back," he said to the other soldiers, his voice low but full of authority. The younger sister peeked from behind her sister, whispering, "Sister, are we going to die?" The older sister shook her head, swallowing hard. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "No, not if he protects us." But even as she said it, fear clawed at her stomach. Every sound outside made her jump. Every shadow seemed to move toward them. The fist pounded again, louder. "Open this door," a harsh voice shouted. The metal groaned under the force. The soldiers in the room tensed, some readying their weapons, others unsure what to do. The human soldier placed himself between the door and the sisters. His scarred face set, his voice was calm, but filled with warning. "You will not touch them." He could hear the patrol whispering outside. "Searching, they must be here," one said. "We saw them pass this way," another hissed. The human soldier's hand tightened on his weapon, but he did not fire yet. He knew the sisters' safety depended on control. "Not panic, stay behind me," he told the girls. "No matter what you hear." The younger sister clutched his coat, her eyes wide and fearful. "Sister, they are strong. They will break the door." The older sister pressed a finger to her lips, trying to quiet her own shaking. She whispered, "Trust him. Please just trust him." She could barely breathe, but somehow the presence of the human made her feel a flicker of hope. Outside, the voices grew impatient, louder. "We know you're hiding them. Open up or we break it down." The human soldier glanced at his team, nodding slightly, signaling a plan. One soldier moved quietly to the side, another to the top of the stairs. Every movement calculated, silent, precise. The sisters could barely see what was happening, but they could feel the tension in the room. The older sister whispered to her sibling, "We must be very quiet. Do not make a sound." The younger nodded, burying her face in her sister's shoulder. The door shook again and splinters fell to the floor. The shouting outside grew louder, more threatening. The soldiers aimed their weapons silently, waiting for the enemy to make a move. The human soldier stepped closer to the door, his voice low but commanding. "Listen, you cannot enter this room. If you do, you will face consequences you cannot survive." A pause followed. Silence hung heavy in the air. The pounding stopped for a moment, then a voice sneered, "Soldier, you protect them? You are a fool. Step aside or we destroy everything." The human's eyes burned with determination, his hands clenched into fists. "Not one step," he said firmly. "They are under my protection and I will not let you take them." The sisters gasped softly, their hearts racing. Could he really protect them against so many? Fear and hope battled inside their tiny hearts. They had never experienced anyone standing up for them. Not like this. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the roof above. The soldiers quickly aimed, checking for attackers. The sisters pressed themselves to the floor, shaking violently, their small bodies trembling in terror. The human soldier moved quickly, pulling a lever, and a hidden panel opened on the wall. "Quick, get inside," he whispered to the girls. His hands guided them into the narrow passage, away from the pounding door. The sisters followed silently, their hearts hammering. The younger whispered, "Sister, what if they catch us here?" The older sister held her tightly, whispering, "We are safe. For now, just trust him." Through the hidden passage, They could hear the patrol shouting, banging, and searching the shelter. The human soldier led them silently, keeping them low, each step careful. Calculated. Finally, they reached a small hidden room, lit faintly by a single lamp. The sisters sank to the floor, catching their breath. Their bodies shook from fear and relief. The human soldier closed the hidden door behind them, locking it securely. The older sister looked at him, her eyes wide. You saved us," she whispered. The human shook his head slightly, his eyes serious. "Not yet. The threat is still out there." He glanced at the sisters, softer this time. "But inside here you are safe. For now." The younger sister pressed against him, tears streaming down her cheeks. Thank you," she whispered. The older sister sat quietly, still tense, but a small spark of hope had grown inside her. She knew this human risked everything for them, and slowly, for the first time in days, she dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, there was a future beyond the cold streets and cruelty. Outside, the pounding continued, but the sisters no longer heard it clearly. The hidden door blocked the sounds. The warmth of the room and the presence of the human gave them strength. The night was still dangerous, but for the first time, they felt that someone cared. Someone would not abandon them. Someone would fight for them, and in that moment, even as the enemy searched outside, the sisters whispered to each other, "Maybe. We have a chance." The hidden room was small and warm, a soft light flickering from a lamp in the corner. The sisters sank to the floor, their thin bodies exhausted from the cold. The fear and the long escape. The younger one hugged her knees, shivering. "Sister, we are safe, right?" The older sister pressed her hand on the younger's head, whispering, "For now. But we must be careful." Her mind raced. She had never felt true safety before, not until this human had stepped into their frozen world. The human soldier stood near the wall, watching them quietly. His eyes softened as he saw their fear slowly melt into relief. But he knew this safety was temporary. The patrol outside would not give up so easily. And the sisters were not ordinary aliens. Their presence here could spark trouble beyond his control. The older sister's curiosity finally broke through her fear. Why did you help us?" she asked, her voice small, trembling. The human looked at her, his face calm but serious. "Because no one else would," he said simply. "Because even if the world ignores the weak and broken, I cannot." The sisters exchanged a glance. A strange warmth spreading in their hearts, the younger one whispered, "He is different." Suddenly, the older sister hesitated. "There is something you should know." Her voice dropped low, almost a whisper. "We are not ordinary aliens." The human's brow rose slightly, but he did not interrupt. He gestured for her to continue. The older sister took a deep breath. We have knowledge about hidden enemy weapons." Her voice shook, but she met his eyes. "The patrol, they want us because we know secrets. Dangerous secrets." The younger sister nodded, tears glistening. "If they catch us, everyone will suffer." Her small voice trembled. "We wanted to hide, but we cannot hide forever." The human's eyes darkened, understanding the gravity of their words, his jaw clenched. "So that is why they chased you," he said quietly. "You are not just weak or lost. You are important." The older sister nodded, relief mixed with fear. "Yes, we wanted to survive, but we did not want anyone to know. If they find us, they will not just kill us. They will destroy everything we know." The human moved closer, kneeling to their level. "Then you are more than children in need of help. You are guardians of something dangerous." His voice was calm, but firm. "And I will protect you no matter what." The sisters looked at him, eyes wide, almost unable to believe his words. You will risk everything for us?" The older whispered. "I will," he said simply. "If I don't, who will? No one else dared to stop the patrol outside, but I will stand for you." The younger sister clutched her sister's hand tightly, whispering, We trust you." Her voice was soft yet strong in its determination. The older sister swallowed hard, a lump in her throat. We will follow you. If you promise." The human nodded. "I promise. But you must understand, this is dangerous. The patrol outside, they are ruthless. If they learn the truth about what you know, they will not stop." Fear tightened around the sisters again. But now it was mixed with purpose. They had been helpless before, wandering the streets with no home, no hope, no one to care for them, but now they had someone who believed in them, someone who would fight for them. The human stood and moved to the small window. Peering outside, "We have little time," he said. "The patrol is still searching. We cannot stay long, but there is a way to protect you, a place they will not find." The sisters watched him, hope mingled with fear. Where is this place?" The younger whispered, her small hands trembling. He smiled faintly. "A safe place, hidden far from them. You will have food, shelter, and time to rest." His eyes softened as he glanced at the sisters, and maybe a chance to live without fear. The older sister's chest tightened, relief and disbelief battling inside her. For the first time, she felt that maybe, just maybe, their endless struggle for survival might end. But before she could ask more, a loud crash sounded outside the hidden shelter, followed by shouting. The enemy patrol had found traces of their escape. Their footsteps and voices grew closer, the sound vibrating through the walls. The sisters gasped, clinging to each other. The younger whispered, "Sister." "They found us." The human soldier's face hardened, his hand resting on his weapon. "Then we move now," he said calmly. "No hesitation. We protect the secrets. And you." The sisters nodded, their fear replaced by determination. They had survived so far, and with him they could face whatever came next. As they prepared to leave the hidden room, the older sister whispered, "Thank you for believing in us." The human soldier glanced at them, a faint smile crossing his scarred face. "No one should ever be left alone in the dark," he said softly. And in that moment, the sisters knew their journey was only beginning. Outside, the enemy patrol raged, but inside the hidden room, hope and courage grew, and the sisters finally understood. They were not alone anymore. The hidden room was silent except for the shallow breathing of the two sisters. Their eyes were wide with fear, but also a growing spark of trust. They had shared their secret with the human, and now he knew how dangerous their lives were. The human soldier moved quickly, his boots quiet against the metal floor. "We cannot stay here," he whispered, glancing at the narrow passage. "The patrol outside will return, and they will not give up." The older sister nodded, her heart racing. "Where will we go?" she asked, her voice trembling. The human glanced at her, serious. "I have a place, hidden safe, but I must make a choice." His eyes darkened, and the sisters felt the weight of his words. "The choice is simple, but dangerous. If I take you with me, I risk my life, my position, even my freedom." The younger sister looked up, her small hands clutching her sister. We want to go with you," she whispered. "We trust you." The older sister's lips trembled, her mind spinning. She had always protected her sister, had always made the hard choices. But now, this human was offering everything they had ever wanted. Safety, warmth, hope. We must go," she said softly. "Even if it is dangerous. We cannot stay here." The human soldier nodded. His jaw tight, he moved to the hidden lever in the wall, opening a narrow passage that led downward. The faint light revealed a dark stairway, winding into the unknown. "This path will hide you from the patrol," he said, "but it is risky. You must stay quiet and follow exactly." The sisters swallowed hard, their hands trembling. The younger one whispered, "We are ready." "Sister," the older sister nodded, her fear battling hope. "Then we move," she said, stepping forward first, the younger following closely. The passage was narrow, walls damp and cold. The sound of their footsteps echoed faintly, and every creak made their hearts jump. The human soldier led the way, glancing back often to make sure they were safe. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from above, followed by shouting. The enemy patrol had returned, searching more aggressively now. "They are close. Check every corner," a voice shouted. Their boots pounded, vibrating through the stairway. The sisters pressed themselves against the wall. Holding their breath, the human soldier raised his hand sharply. Signaling silence, he whispered, "Not a sound. Stay close. Trust me." The older sister swallowed, whispering to the younger, "Do not move. Do not speak. Just follow him." They descended deeper, the stairway twisting and turning, until they reached a heavy metal door hidden from view. The human soldier placed his hand on the latch, hesitated for a moment, then whispered, "Once we go through this, there is no turning back. They will come looking, and if they catch us, we may all die." The sisters looked at each other, fear and determination in their eyes. The younger one squeezed her sister's hand. "We go. We trust him," the older sister nodded, her chest tight. "Yes, We go. The human pushed the door open slowly, revealing a small hidden chamber beneath the city. Lit faintly by lanterns, the warmth hit them immediately, and their frozen bodies shivered with relief. Inside were supplies, food, blankets, water, and a small area to rest. The human gestured for them to sit. Here, you can recover for a short time, he said, his voice softening. But remember, the choice I made was not without risk. The sisters sat, their eyes wide, their bodies relaxing slightly for the first time in days. The older sister asked quietly, "What will happen if they find us?" The human shook his head. "Then I fight." His voice was low but fierce. "I made my choice. I cannot leave you to die. Even if it means everything I have is lost, I will protect you." The younger sister's eyes filled with tears. You are brave," she whispered, "and kind." The older sister nodded, holding her sibling close. "Yes. He chose us," she said softly, when no one else would. The human soldier watched them, his scarred face softening. But inside he knew the truth. Protecting the sisters would not be easy. The enemy patrol would not stop. The sisters' secret knowledge was too valuable. And his decision could bring war, punishment, even death to them all. He took a deep breath, then knelt beside the sisters. "I do not know what will happen next," he said quietly. "But I know one thing, if you stay in the cold, you will die. If you follow me, there is a chance. A real chance to live," the sisters nodded, their small faces set with determination. "We follow," they whispered together. Their voices were soft but strong. The human soldier smiled faintly, a shadow of relief crossing his face. "Then we move forward. Together," he said, "no matter what comes, I will not abandon you." Outside, the enemy patrol continued their search, unaware that the sisters had found a protector, a human who had chosen them over safety, over rules, over his own life. And deep in the hidden chamber beneath the city, the sisters realized something they had never believed possible. Hope was real, and someone cared enough to risk everything for them. But the night was not over. The choice had been made, and the danger still waited, lurking outside, ready to strike. The hidden chamber was quiet, but tension lingered in the air. The sisters sat close together, still trembling from the long journey. Their stomachs ached from hunger, their bodies sore from days of cold and fear. Yet there was a strange sense of hope, a fragile light they had not felt in a long time. The human soldier checked the narrow passage again. Listening carefully, the patrol outside had not given up. They could hear faint shouts in the distance, boots clanging against stone, but the human's jaw was set. His eyes sharp, his hands rested on his weapon, ready for anything. The older sister whispered to her sibling, "We are so close. I can feel it. This might be the end of the fear." The younger one clutched her sister's hand. I hope we are safe now." The human motioned for them to follow, leading them carefully through the hidden passages beneath the city. Each step was slow, deliberate, avoiding loose stones and creaking floors. The sisters stayed close, trusting him completely now. Their fear mingled with cautious hope. Finally, they reached a small tunnel that led out of the city. The human looked around, scanning the night. "This is our chance," he whispered. "Once we step outside, there is no turning back." The sisters nodded. Swallowing hard, their hands trembled as they followed him. The tunnel opened onto a quiet field. Far from the city's ruins, the wind was cold but free, carrying the smell of grass and earth. The human soldier stopped and looked around carefully. "We are not completely safe yet," he said, "but this is the first step. We move fast, stay together, and do not make a sound." The sisters ran quietly beside him, their legs weak but determined. The older sister whispered, "It feels different, like we are finally alive." The younger one's eyes sparkled. "Yes, I can feel it too." Suddenly a shout echoed from the city behind them. The patrol had noticed something, their voices filled with anger and urgency. But the human soldier did not panic. He led the sisters through a hidden path he had discovered months before, narrow tracks through the forest, over small streams and under fallen trees. Hours passed as they moved through the night. The sisters' bodies ached, but they did not stop. The human never let them fall behind, his hand always close, ready to catch them if needed. Finally, the first rays of sunlight touched the forest, painting the leaves with gold. The sisters paused, exhausted, but their eyes widened as they saw it. The human's home, hidden among tall trees, small and safe. With smoke curling from a chimney and a warm light in the windows, the human stopped at the edge of the clearing. "This is it," he whispered. "You are safe here. No one will find you." The older sister ran forward, holding her sister's hand tightly. "Safe? Really safe?" she asked, her voice trembling. The human smiled faintly. "Yes, safe. You can rest, eat, and finally live without fear." He gestured for them to enter. "Come inside, both of you." The sisters stepped into the small home, their eyes wide with wonder, simple, warm, and filled with life. It was a world they had never imagined, full of food, blankets, and warmth, a place where no one would laugh at them or throw stones. The younger sister ran to a small bed, hugging the blanket. "It feels like home," she whispered, tears of relief streaming down her cheeks. The older sister looked around, her heart full. "We have a chance, a real chance," she said softly, glancing at the human. "Thank you for everything." The human nodded, his eyes softening. "No one should ever be left alone in the cold," he said quietly. "You both deserved more than the streets, more than fear. I could not let you suffer any more." The sisters sat together, finally safe, their minds slowly letting go of the nightmares that had haunted them. The warmth of the home and the human's protection wrapped around them like a shield, stronger than anything they had ever known. Outside, the patrol would search in vain, their voices and footsteps fading with distance. The sisters did not care, they were home, and for the first time in their lives, they could breathe without fear. The human soldier brought them food, and blankets and water, watching them quietly as they ate. Their small smiles, their soft laughs were more precious than anything he had ever known. The older sister whispered to her sibling, "We will never forget what he did for us." The younger one nodded, hugging her tightly. "Yes, we are safe now." Because of him, the human watched them, a faint smile on his scarred face, knowing that he had made the right choice, that even when the world was cruel, kindness could still exist, and that two lost alien girls had finally found a place to belong. And in that quiet, warm home, far from the ruins, fear, and cruelty, the sisters finally understood what it meant to be safe. Loved and protected, a new life had begun, and for the first time, hope was real.